Hey everyone, welcome to my Flash Season 2 Episode 1 review. And first off, let me start by saying that I really wasn't digging this episode a whole lot. I mean, I like Flash and all, and the other episodes in the season have been pretty awesome. But this episode in particular felt like it was just a bit weak. I understand it has to set up the storyline for the season, but I don't know, I just think they could have chose a better villain, even though I really like Adam Smasher in the comic books. But he wasn't very well fleshed out, and the overall story arcs in the episode were kind of just not interesting, in my personal opinion. But that besides the point. This was a solid episode. But if I had to compare it to like the Arrow season premiere, nowhere near. So anyway, first off, let's start by the season starts off just like Arrow. It starts off 6 months in the future of where we left off with and just like in Arrow, Flash has decided to go it alone. Well, actually, it's a little different. Arrow has his girlfriend, but anyway, Flash decides to go it alone. He's all guilt-ridden by what happened in the end of the season 1, and just like typical moody Flash, he decides to just throw away all his friends and loved ones and just cope with it by himself. But that's, of course, by the end of the episode, that's all resolved and like it never even existed. So, the city wants to have a Flash Day, which is kind of cool. It's kind of cool to see the Flash kind of getting appreciation for what he does, and it's really interesting to see all the fan base of the Flash, and it brings a contrast between Flash and Arrow, how different they are. Because Arrow would never have an Arrow Day; it just wouldn't happen. Let's see. And some things that have changed. Cisco has been working with the CDPC, or however they say it, the Central City Police Department, and he is helping them create weapons to fight metahumans. So that's kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting to see Cisco. It's really funny to see all the Cisco moments and him trying to get a badge and everything. That was really funny. Of course, his device, the boot, doesn't work at all, so that was that. The villain of the episode, Adam Smasher, is actually a hero from the comic books. He's kind of like an anti-hero. He's had dark tendencies in the comic books, but he's never gone full villain. But in the movie, in the TV show, he's completely just bad guy, which is I didn't like that much. I thought they could have did better. With showing his multiple sides of him. Also, he comes off as just a brute, which he is a brute in the comic books, but he's also kind of a smart brute and kind of a compassionate brute. Let's see. He is sent to Central City to destroy the Flash by the big villain of the season, Zoom, who we don't really learn anything about in this episode, just his name. Of course, in the comic books, if I remember right, Zoom is actually the name of the Reverse Flash, if I remember right. It was like one of his aliases. So I'm not sure where they're going with that. Well, what else can I hit up on here? We also see a new character who pretty much everybody's figured out is Jay Garrick, the Earth 2 Flash, doing surveillance, and that's going to be a pretty big part of the season. I imagine his character and the whole multiple Earths thing. We also get to see Caitlin's working at Mercury Labs now as a tech person. And it was interesting to see how she's dealing with Ronnie dying. Of course, and that was another thing I didn't like. I didn't like how they just kind of write Ronnie out of the show and kill him off again. Or if he's even dead. Nobody really stays dead in this universe. But I'm not sure what their reasoning for that was, but it was just... it was played. You've already seen it happen a couple times, and him flying into that storm just didn't feel like the big heroic thing it was supposed to be. But it does help the story move along, because it makes Flash not so much the hero. That's the main reason why Flash doesn't want to do anything in this episode, because he's so scared of being a hero. And I think that's all we have for today's episode. Thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned for my review of episode 2 of The Flash Season 2.